certain way you look at it, it's not ideal, but it is ideal in terms of an opportunity to learn and see where we're at. And I'm sure Coach Forbes and his staff feel the same way.
Have you heard any more about MA and what his status is for Friday?
It's unknown. He didn't practice yesterday. I'm not sure that he'll practice today. Got a swollen ankle.
Coming from a Wake Forest team that only returns one starter from last year, what have you seen out of them on film that can maybe make a difference against y'all?
Oh, limited film for both staffs, right? For both teams, programs. Completely new team. Of course, they had a very good year, and we're a completely new team. So basing a lot on their game versus Fairfield, of course, which was a good game. Fairfield played really well. And also trying to forecast, maybe try to throw out some educated guesses on what they might do based on some film in the past, and what coach has done with his teams in the past. So just do the best you can with a small sample size at this point in game 2.
Typically, how much do you go back from game to game and look at the film, obviously evaluating everything all the time, but just how much do you do that? How much do you get out of that when you go going forward to the next contest?
Yeah, we are on the side of probably overdoing it more so than underdoing it. Before we watched any Wake, we dove into our last game heavily, offensively, defensively. We just got so far to go in so many different areas, and as we prepare for Wake, so much of it is going to be about us, right? And there's only a certain amount that we'll learn about Wake, and again, with a small sample size, it's probably added incentive to focus a ton, especially this early in the season, especially right with a new staff and 9 new players on Georgia.
How hands-on are you with non-conference scheduling? And did you look at it with the first year here that you wanted to have it a certain way?
Pretty hands-on here. We were working from behind a little bit, of course, with the transition. We needed to schedule a bunch of games pretty quickly. We wanted to space them out as best we could, of course, and we wanted some opponents that we felt like we'd have a pretty good chance of beating, of course. And then we wanted something like this one, where you test yourself, you can develop, you can learn from film, win or lose. ACC road game, we got 4 or 5 that are going to be very difficult, and that's some of the low major to mid majors are going to be very difficult too. But we've got some tests in there. I like the balance, especially for where we are right now with where we are in our program.
You ever crossed paths with Coach Forbes before, maybe on the recruiting trail, coaching trail?
A bunch. Yeah, I've known him ever since I got in the business. He's one of the more outgoing coaches in the country. He's one of those guys that it seems like everyone in the industry knows. He's got a good sense of humor. He's a coach's coach. He's done a good job for a long time at several different levels.
Well, with MA out now, what kind of comes the challenge of guys who have to kind of try to pick up that slack, because he obviously what he brings is so much offensive and defensive end.
I know, coming into this one here, if you asked me a week ago, I'd say, when we go to Wake, he's going to play 30-plus minutes, and who knows where we're at right now. And preparing for him potentially not playing yesterday was after that film on us was revamping some stuff, especially offensively, trying to figure out how we can generate some offense, potentially with him not out there.
In this day and age, I imagine you're going to go against former players more often than not. What's it going to be like to have Appleby on the other side?
It's going to be great to see him. I've known him since he was really young. I coached him in a couple years, of course, and coached his older brother for 4 years, one of the winningest players I've ever coached in Raheem. And Tyree's great. I love him. He'll be a good fit for Coach Forbes, and I know he recruited him hard. And actually, we had a lot of communication throughout Tyree's recruiting process when he jumped in the portal with the Wake staff. So he seems happy and he's playing well, and just hope he doesn't get it going on us. I've seen that.
Speaking of recruiting, saw the statement that you put out on the 2 signees. Just wanted to see if you could add a little bit more on that, and maybe the background that it took to, you know, the process that it took to pull them in, considering it was such a short span of time.
Yeah, two guys I'm really excited about. Great young men, good students, good people, great families. Both bring a different skill set, but both are very versatile for their positions. You know, I'll start with Mari. It's nice to be able to talk about these guys, right?
That's
You can
correct.
confirm for the
I
ninth
can
time, right? I can talk about them.
No rules.
Mari, you know, is he's a big wing. You know, he could probably play 2 or 3 positions. Plays really hard. He's got very good length, and he's a guy that we somewhat inherited. We had to re-recruit, of course, but he's grown up. You know, the previous staff did a really good job recruiting him. Of course, he was committed when we got here. When we were able to go on the road for the first time and recruit, he was the first guy that I went to go see, and really liked him and followed him, of course, all summer. And we tried to speed up the relationship building process, of course. And he remained loyal to the Red and Black, so we're excited about him and his future. And Dylan, you know, different size, different position, but again, within his position, brings probably as much versatility. You know, a guy that can play a couple different front court spots, can really shoot it. He's got a unique combination of being able to shoot the ball and alter and block shots, which is rare. You know, he's 6'9" with very good length. He shoots it as well as anyone that we've got in our program right now. You know, good guy, good student, great family, just like Mari. And he's a guy that we started recruiting when he was 15 years old, you know, when we were at the University of Florida. And I'm really familiar with him, and, you know, excited that he's going to join us at Georgia as well.
He says a lot of good things about Coach Pastrana too. He really was one of the first ones that I guess to recruit.
Coach has got him fooled there.
Yeah.
Got him tricked. Now, you know, EP has had a good relationship with him for a long time, and we're excited to have him. He's going to be good.
Any other questions?
As you continue to recruit for the 2023 class, like, how fluid is the number of openings you might have? You know, I mean, you never, you know.
Yeah, very fluid.
Yeah.
You just don't know. How do you forecast it? Who may jump in the portal? Who may not? We're one game in, and that's every coach in our league, I'm sure, is feeling the same way, really, at our level, period. And then, you know, moving forward, what happens with the one-time transfer exception? Is that, are we going to have waivers? Are we not going to have waivers? Are we going to have just as many jump in the portal? Are we not? We're going to have more continuity. How does NIL affect the continuity? Who knows? We're pressing pause for now, and we're coaching our team, and hopefully we have great practice. But we're open to all, you know, scenarios here in the spring. We've got a lot to sell here, of course, but in terms of how many scholarships and what positions we may need, it's really hard to forecast right now.
Thanks, Coach.